I like to say that if the character's real to me, then they'll be real to everyone else. To me, they exist.
Let's play a game. Can you recognize the character by looking at this? What about this? And this? Even without seeing the whole picture, these characters are instantly recognizable. Why? Because of their iconic designs. As writers, we know our characters' personalities inside and out, their dreams, fears, faults, and quirks. But here's the thing, just as important as who a character is how they look. That's where the character designers jump in. So let's dive into the fascinating world of character design with none other than Deanna Marsigliese, an incredible character designer and total fashion icon behind films like Inside Out, Soul, Incredibles 2, Luca, and Inside Out 2. I'm screenwriter Pietro Schito, and this is Write for Animation. And if you want to become a better storyteller and thrive in the animation industry, subscribe now and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos with practical tips and techniques from animation experts. A character designer is an artist who specializes in creating the look and feel of a unique character. They take the descriptions from the writers and directors and transform them into visuals that define who these characters are and what they bring to the story.
I like to define character design as you're developing a character both figuratively and literally. So yes, you're considering shape, line, color, all of these things, but you're also designing them as a person. You're contributing to who they are. So you're working with story, you're working with the director, you're working with the production designer, you're working across the crew to really solidify not only what this character looks like, but who they are and what their role is in the story. So I have found that as much as I learn from story, they learn from us. And it is a reciprocal relationship. Character designers are storytellers. Character designers are there to drive the story forward, but we do this visually through designing a character and explaining our choices.
Character designers work at the pre-production stage of the animation pipeline, laying the foundation for how a character will be remembered, whether they're lanky and awkward, elegant and chill, or adorably chubby. Their creativity can even bring the toughest concepts to life. But how does that process actually work? Before we let Deanna reveal that, I have a gift for you that will help you create unforgettable characters. It's a step-by-step guide that you can get for free from the link down below.
My first step would be to consider what they mean to the story, why their story or their want is important. And then I like to consider how they engage with the world. So who are they in the world? How do they take it in? What do they pursue? What do they back away from? Once you have the main tent poles in place, it's all about the details. I really, really love digging in and finding a backstory for every single detail that goes into that character. This could be wardrobe, this could be the style of hair, even how many freckles they have on their face, but everything has a meaning and it all points back to their day-to-day. And even if the audience isn't aware of all those little details, it's definitely there. It might not be communicated through script, it might not be vital to what's happening in a sequence or the story, but I feel that we and the audience does feel that it's there. It makes them more real. I think it's a combination of research, just concrete research, no matter who the character is. You think about a character like Anxiety, you think about a character like Luca. There's a ton of research that goes into it in all different directions, of course, but then there's just like the feeling behind it. I spend a lot of time feeling through things. This is what would have me drawing almost way too much when I would pitch. That's still my process. I kind of have to do it and draw them and turn them over in my mind and on the page and feel my way through and let my instincts tell me, oh, this is something, you've hit something. I can't always really decipher why for myself in that moment. It takes me a little time, but I trust my instincts now and they don't fail me usually. So I would say feeling and fact. Anxiety was challenging in the way that she was a tall order for me. I have a very personal relationship with Anxiety, and I think a lot of people do. So to me, the weight of the responsibility of this character, Anxiety, I think as an emotion, is very unwanted, certainly not celebrated. I mean, why would it be? But the challenge would lie in making her lovable somehow. I wanted audiences to empathize with her so they could empathize with themselves. I actually only took a week. That is very rare, but I chalk that up to really knowing anxiety, I think. As for her design, when I was doing research for anxiety and trying to understand anxiety just on a scientific level, fear comes up a lot. The difference, of course, being that fear is defined as an immediate threat. Anxiety is the fear of what might or could happen. So they're very, very different, but they're related. What if anxiety is fear's cousin? I considered that fear is vertical, anxiety answers horizontally, but they both share those very intense eyes. So the hair was a big element for me because it's very stiff at the root, but it's very soft and light at the tip. So any palpitation would register in the hair. And of course, she's very mobile in the film. I mean, she's very kinetic. And then you have the teeth. I love the teeth. So she has a center tooth, I would say off-putting, not in a grotesque way, but in a way that doesn't feel quite right. Whenever she appeared on screen, I wanted folks to almost want to just like adjust, just fix it. I wanted her to feel uncomfortable. Like she needed a little bit of like zhuzhing or something. You know, the pants are hiked up too high. She's got the high collar, which is like a little claustrophobic. And then she has the boots, which were designed just a little bit too tight. So again, that feeling that she's not altogether comfortable. She's never at ease. So these are all the kinds of things that I'm thinking about. I like to say that if the character's real to me, then they'll be real to everyone else. And I really do, almost to a fault, care about my characters. I know who they are and I care about them deeply. To me, they exist.
From the color of a coat to the size of their feet, everything serves the story. Character designers experiment with ideas, materials, motives, colors, textures, and shapes to come up with a specific look that will serve the character and the overall film. It sounds like a really fun job to have.
The moment I enjoy the most is when I decide what medium I'm using. And that's really all instinct. So I get a character assignment and then maybe think, well, I'm very selfish this way. What's going to be the most fun for me? Because if it's fun for me, it's going to show in the work and it's going to energize everybody. So that's why I will change, use collage. I've used wire. Sometimes I'll do watercolor. Sometimes I'll just do pencil. That's how I keep it fun for myself. And that's why I think the feedback I get often about my work is that it excites people. That's because I'm exciting myself while I'm doing it. When a character comes to the art department, there's so much room. Of course, we read the script and we read the script as it changes and we see what Story's doing. I mean, Story's taking their own pass at character, obviously. I feel like we're all kind of working together and throwing our ideas in the center. Every character is challenging because, again, we're designing them as we're getting to know them and getting to know them as we're designing them. And of course, the director has their vision, the production designer has their vision. The whole crew is pitching in. So it's an organic process, but at times it can be a little chaotic.
If you're dreaming of becoming a character designer like Deanna, the first step is to sharpen your artistic skill. There's no way around it. Luckily, there are plenty of resources and tutorials out there to help you build your craft and create a strong portfolio. I left some links down below.
If you're setting out to be a character designer, of course you want to learn appeal. Appeal is very important, but this is also a very nebulous concept because how appeal is defined is different for every artist. And you're going to want to learn to master all of the tools. So that is, shape and line and color and pattern, proportion, all of these things. Play, find what works for you. Be adaptive because every film you work on is going to ask something a little bit different from you, aesthetically, of course. Learn about animation. You're going to have to engineer your characters to move, so you do want to consider how your creative choices, your artistic choices are going to affect their movement. Lastly, you want to learn how to feel through your characters. I think that is the secret sauce. You want a character that looks good, that's beautiful and appealing, of course, but you also want a character that hits here. You want to work with the story, with the writers, with the director, the production designer, your whole crew, or if it's just you, think very deeply about your character. Why do they need to exist? And make sure you shove a whole bunch of that thought in there. And that's all through love, specificity, and consideration, symbolism. Don't forget to feel through. They got to look good, but they have to draw something out of people too.
Character design is where art and storytelling collide. It isn't just about making something look good, it's about creating something functional and iconic. Of course, you can't design how a character looks before designing who they really are. Now watch this video to keep learning how to create a compelling character that's ready to come to life. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Pietro and this is Write for Animation. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.